For the last few seasons I've been just talking politics and so worried about climate change, and everything I do is in the context of climate change, but
Vivienne Westwood was born in Derbyshire in 1941, but soon moved to London where the hippie fad prevailed. In the early 70s, she became interested in the emerging punk movement, considering it a way of confronting the system. The embryo of her company is to be found in the King's Road boutique, and the original clothing designed for the punk rock band Sex Pistols, for whom her husband Malcolm McLaren was manager at the time. From these early punk days, she evolved to be a political activist fashion designer. She has managed to forge an outspoken rebel aesthetic that is genuinely hers, designing collections that push for awareness upon climate change, civil liberties, and nuclear disarmament. She is considered one of the most influential designers of our time, displaying radical shows and using her catwalks as provocative and shocking tools to spread her message. Vivienne has been expressing her concern for the health of the planet for more than 15 years and has continued to participate in numerous campaigns for a greener fashion industry up to the present day at the age of 80. Many in the fashion industry, as well as fashion lovers, look up to her. But does her voice actually resonate through? The Vivienne Westwood Company is one of the last independent luxury fashion houses. Vivienne is the founder, the designer, and the creative mind of the company. She is the mainstay of the power structure and makes most of the decisions. Taking the red label Summer-Spring 2020 collection as an example, we see how the promotional video and the message transmitted by the government are in line with Vivienne's ideas of sustainability. In the modern slavery section of their website, they issue a report on the matter, also dating from 2020, where the company discloses information about their business. They are resolutely aligned with the fight against modern slavery, have a code of labor practice, a whistleblowing policy, and have expressed a commitment to enhance transparency and traceability of sustainable value chains. The company has already published an action plan setting out their objectives for the future. The EFI 2020 Impact Assessment Report outlines key statistics with reference to the SS 2020 accessories collection, such as number of units produced, artisans employed, female workforce, workers' improved skills or satisfaction. It also sketches some specific cases among the workers, putting a face to the clothes manufacturers and explaining the ethical fashion initiative and its goal of reducing extreme poverty. Another project mentioned on the website is the Save the Arctic campaign, aimed at raising awareness about the fragility of the Arctic life. It was organized in 2013 jointly with Greenpeace, who obtained 100% of the profits, and consisted of 60 portraits of celebrities wearing unbleached cotton t-shirts designed by Vivienne. The approach to business practices is explained in considerable detail on the company's website, based in 3 areas of work: quality versus quantity, Gaia protection, and art and craft promotion. In particular, they pursue animal welfare, innovation with fabrics and fibers, use of low-impact dyes, minimize hazardous chemicals, eliminate single-use plastics, improve sustainability packaging, reduce synthetic fibers, and tackling textile waste. They propose measures such as using low-waste experimental pattern cutting, reducing the size of their collection, and seeking out opportunities to reuse and recycle leftover fabric, dead stock, and discarded materials. They committed to switch to green energy by 2020 and state a note on the gender pay gap. The commitment is clearly stated. However, is there evidence that is acted upon? The main criticism levied against the Westwood Company is the lack of transparency. The corporation has committed itself on several fronts in the run-up to 2020 or 2021, but an update on the achievement of the goal set is missed. On Good On You, the label is rated not good enough. Elox magazine is the most critical, entering into accusations of greenwashing. It claims that there is no indication that Vivienne herself is putting into practice any of the things she preaches. Besides, despite her calls to buy less, her company produces 9 collections a year, compared to the average designer's 2. According to Elox magazine, when Vivienne was directly asked in 2013 if she plans on transitioning to more eco-friendly materials, she said that she's had the same suppliers for decades and wasn't about to change her supply channels because it was too complicated. Although it might seem like a lazy statement, the truth is that Westwood wasn't born a sustainable company as, say, Stella McCartney, and changing the entire business model is a major and complex process. She has also been accused of classism, but Vivienne says she isn't worried about people's changing habits, squeezing her profits. If people like my clothes, it's good if they don't buy things for 6 months. Then they will be able to afford them, she says. Westwood defended the cost of her designs, which carry high price tags, stating that it is ethical and ecologically friendly, that garments are expensive. There are mixed opinions about the promotional campaign of the action with Kenya. Some consider the initiative a resounding success. In 5 years of joint work, the project has employed 1,500 craftsmen in Kenya, receiving wages higher than the local average in addition to gaining skills, which can later be passed on. Andrew Brooks critically considers the campaign to be a well-intentioned market solution, which, however, falls short of the changes made in production to achieve poverty reduction results. The company has been embroiled in tax avoidance controversies too, which is not very consistent with someone who prides herself on ethics. This discredit led the Green Party, to whom she donates funds, to cancel her appearance at a series of university events. She finally paid because she was, quote marks, concerned by the allegation in the papers, and she considered that her business affairs should be in line with her personal values. However, as stated in their website, the brand is committed to improving its sustainability practices. Based on the BOF Sustainability Index, I have elaborated a rubric by asking myself a series of specific questions on each of its categories in order to assess how Westwood's label is doing and what possibilities are able for them to explore when looking ahead. With the rubric, we see that the brand takes into account workers' rights and emissions. Chemicals and materials are areas in which they are working, but they do not mention water waste. At large, the main problem of the company seems to be transparency and traceability. Although willingness to gain in that regard can be perceived, it is clearly not enough, but the brand has many opportunities for improvement. Moreover, according to its buyers, the brand highlights 3 main strengths: the reinvigoration of heritage, the ability to curate a story, and the experimentation and DIY. The brand has a clear narrative at the core and a reactionary history that goes back to the punk era. Taking the scope of sustainability beyond the production chain and letting it reach the catwalks is what distinguishes Vivienne Westwood from other brands known for their sustainable approach. Westwood's success is that she does not use her political messages to sell, but really tries to convey a message and a story. That being said, they have the potential to be the sustainable brand and should continue to implement changes in this direction. She is outrageous and politically transgressive. This is reflected in her brand and is also what buyers value, and without looking for it in the first place, it has become their branding. And I ask myself, is that wrong? A t-shirt with an eco-friendly message from AliExpress or H&M, which are fast fashion brands exploiting their workers, is clearly greenwashing. The difference with Vivienne is that even though their company needs to demonstrate tangible progress, there are many evidences that she is taking action and implementing real changes. It is not just a marketing strategy. The concern and protests are genuine. And this leads me to the issue of green shaming. Westwood, the person, is basically shamed for leading an imperfect zero-waste company, called out a hypocrite even though she is helping the environment in other ways. As we all can imagine, perfect zero waste is an incredibly challenging goal to achieve. Changing a structure that has been paved in a non-sustainable way of working is a process and not something that can happen overnight. Guilt or shame only stand to promote feelings of negativity rather than positive long-term reinforcement, and without this, lasting impact is unlikely. We tend to focus on the negative aspects and not on the positive ones. And while it is good to be critical and push for change, shaming her in a non-constructive manner is non-productive. It is far more fruitful to highlight the points that have not yet been considered and to make proposals and suggestions for improvement. We must not forget that doing activism and raising awareness through her designs is also a form of taking action. Vivienne shouts while implementing changes, and her way of doing might be controversial, but in the end is another way of getting involved in the cause, which is no less valid. Her activism also has a greater ethical resonance. As Clark and Holt have stated, Westwood is not anti-consumption, rather she asks consumers to take consumption seriously. Westwood touches upon an ethics of consumption by placing customers into roles of self-enactment, forcing them into a more active engagement with what they wear and why. Finally, we might want to question the degree of compatibility between luxury and sustainability. While it is true that the two share the principles of rarity and durability, both being consumptions associated with quality, long usage, and therefore waste reduction and timelessness, there is a strong counterpoint. By definition, luxury stands for ostentatious indulgence, hence luxury products and services are arguably unnecessary and lead to overconsumption by nature. Westwood tries to solve this oxymoron by taking refuge in art as an educational tool. Art is what allows you to make good choices with a critical eye. It is an investment in culture and education. That is a privilege, but not an unnecessary luxury. In any case, luxury markets are here to stay, and how they address sustainability issues is crucial for the future of humankind. The sustainable luxury sector has the capacity to be a center for sustainable innovation, setting new aspirations and creating an impact on the mainstream fast fashion market. But are the actions that follow the voice enough to consume Vivienne Westwood's products? I think that's on you. Bearing her words in mind, buy less, choose well, make it last.